Good morning. Welcome to my garden, Lilac Hill. Today I want to share my fall into winter project called the development of the chicken run garden. You can see the garden is starting to transition into fall and the leaves are changing on the trees. I will collect the leaves for leaf mold. So let's head down to the chicken run garden and have a look, and you can see the before. It's always fun to show before when things look, well, quite frankly, terrible. And then as they develop into nice areas, and it's sort of fun to have before and after. I do a photo series of my property called Lilac Hill, the beginning of a garden, where I photograph the garden in 6-month intervals, and then I put the photo series up, and that gives people an idea of what we've done and the transformations that we've made. Because when we came to the property in the fall of 2018, well, late summer, there was nothing here. Not one building, not one garden. Some of the mature trees were here, but that's it. The blue shed was a tin shed with a really low roof, and we've done all of the garden in that time. And then our latest piece is our little glass house. Okay, so this is definitely going to be a before look at this area because it's in pretty rough shape. The chicken run garden was land that came to us through a land survey, and then the chickens were moved last summer because it turned out to be about 6 feet of the land was ours, so it was nice of the neighbor to move the chickens. But you can see that as I approach, I'm heading downhill, and then so the area with grass, or what could possibly be grass, looks terrible, is a hill, and then the chicken run area is fairly level. It starts here beside the big evergreen shrub. The weeping cherry was already here, and it's approximately 6 feet by 15 feet. And it pans along here. So the chickens are not our chickens, that is the neighbor. That is approximately the property line, about 1.5 feet this side of the chickens. This is the property line. And then the chicken run garden ends with the big forsythia. There's also a cherry in here. That's the neighbor's cherry. And that is the west tree line where the sun sets. So it does get a mix of conditions. Not a lot of morning sun, not a lot of afternoon sun, but maybe more the setting sun. I think the best options for this area is probably going to be a variety of different types of shrubs. I was going to try and do vegetables down here, so there might be room maybe for one vegetable box, and we'll just have to see how that goes. I kind of want to do maybe like what I would call a soft block of the neighbors, just to carry on with the greenery. I love the look of the big rhododendron blending in with the evergreen shrub, and then it blends with an old lilac, so that kind of continuation of plant into plant into plant I think would look really good down here. Okay, so what I have in here already, I have a new plant. This one is a one called Midnight Wine and Shine. I just want to double check that. I've got a tag right here. Midnight Wine Shine. It's a new Wigelia. Has a lovely bit of chartreuse veining in the leaf. So I think that's going to look really nice in here. There's also a Spirea Renaissance that I planted. And there's Spirea Van Houtii. But I think what I might do is move the Van Houtii and put one of the hydrangeas here just to vary it up, because those plants look quite similar even though they're different types of Spirea. There's also a cutting of shaggy Shasta, and then beyond that, in that little rock pile being protected, is a cutting of a quince. So I think that's beautiful orange flowers in the spring. So a lot of roots under the weeping cherry. So I think I can't dig too big of holes because I just hit roots. So I'll have to just play with it, work with it, see what I've got, but everything will be focused around the weeping cherry. We thought about doing a small retaining wall because it is a bit of a drop off right there, a step down, and just to kind of clean the line up and define the space. Terry thought about maybe putting in a picket fence along here. I think that would look really smart, kind of parallel with the area underneath the sun deck. Make a nice entrance area here. This actually grass could even be cut back more and give more garden. There's really nothing stopping us from cutting a lot of this grass out. Maybe bringing the garden back up the hill a bit. So I like that idea too. Just because this is where the chicken run was doesn't necessarily mean we have to keep it like this. We could really bring the garden out and then tie it in with the wildlife area that's off in the distance there. So that's just sort of some ideas I'm tossing around. Also in here is Ludwig Spath lilac. There are 2 Ludwig Spath lilacs kind of framing what I would call the entrance. And Ludwig Spath is a really good purple lilac. I got these on clearance. I got 2. And Ludwig Spath was a German botanist and nurseryman born in 1793. So I think the purple in here is going to be really quite vibrant. They are in bud. They didn't bloom last year, but that's quite common for young plants. And then over here is the Ligularia, but it's getting quite a bit of damage from probably slugs and snails. I did put out a few beer traps because I won't use chemicals in the garden. And there's a few slugs, unfortunately, that have had a swim in the beer. But I have to do something because this is quite unsightly. I don't like seeing all the bug damage. This plant is very old. It was in a pot for probably 20 years, and I planted it in here, but it's growing really well. This area is full of good chicken fertilizer. So everything I've seen to plant in here beyond the weeds, if I can get past the weeds, it's actually done really well. There's also this is also a hydrangea in here. This one is Pink Diamond. And it'll get more of the cone type flowers. And then this one is Pink Beauty. But I think if Pink Beauty was moved, so I think it can be kept quite low and mounded, ball type pruning, I could put the Weigelia there, and that would really look nice against the Ligularia. So maybe take up 2 of the Ligularias and pot them just to protect them from the bugs. Or maybe I might have to gravel under there. We'll have to see, because that's just not, can't stay like that. Also in here is a Waterton mock orange, and that's a Philadelphus Lewisi, and it is a spring bloomer, very fragrant. And I have a pathetic attempt at a net because the deer kind of beeline for it for some reason. So that'll all get cleaned up, but you can see there's some suckering from the cherry tree, and it really just needs a good cleanup. But I think this is going to be really nice, really lovely. The neighbors put in some nice big sunflowers along the fence line there. I think this is just going to be a lot of fun to play with and play in the area and see what we can come up with for the new chicken run garden. So this is definitely the before. So after I've done my planting and clean up and figured out what I'm doing, I will do an after for probably next year sometime. I did take some yew cuttings from the yew plants that are along the driveway, so hopefully if I can get maybe even like a little yew hedge growing in there. So while we're standing right here, we might as well have another look, probably the last season look at the butterfly bush with the morning glory. I think this was just a really fun plant combination. It did really well. The morning glory is non-invasive, but every single day I get a different color combination of little morning glory flowers. They go all the way around the plant, and they've even found their string, and they've gone right up to the sun deck. And I just think I couldn't be happier with this. And again, this is non-invasive, so I won't have any problem once the frost comes. And I'm not going to worry about this buddleia anymore in the frost, because I think it's done just fine. As a comeback, quite impressive, considering it was just a bunch of big dark sticks in early spring. This area has all been edged now. The edging's gone in. It needs a good weed eating with a trimmer, but that's okay. Little lilac in here. And this is a new plant I just got called the Lepinella. And it is Lepinella squalida. I think that just really picks up nicely on the Dixon's Gold Campanula. I think sort of interesting little detailed plants in here would be really fun. Small foliage plants. There's a little pink plant back there. That's so pretty. Daylily in here. And again, I've mentioned before, there's a lot of herbs in here, so you get like an herb sort of textural walk as you come through. Yeah. And then it goes up to another little path, and then the glass house has the new black gutters Terry installed, and then the pipe runs to the hill. That's really quite good. Oh, there's morning glory even on this branch. I just can't stop looking at this. It looks so nice. Okay, let's go up the hill. And I want to share one more plant. And I think this little guy down here is a thrift. The detail on that's so beautiful. Okay. Oh, I'm being attacked by the morning glory vine. Madonna daisies in there, just finishing. Yes, hello, we all know. Yes, we know you're very pretty. On this side, I have to sort of fight my way through the growth now, but that's okay. I'm just happy that it didn't keel over. Look at the euphorbia. Oh my gosh, they've done so well. Okay, I'm getting off subject now. I'm getting sidetracked by all the plants that are doing well. All right, this is the one I want to end with. And this is a really nice plant. This is a monk's hood. Let me get the plant in focus here. Beautiful. And it's Aconitum canmarum, and it is very poisonous. It's also known as a wolfsbane, monk's hood, because the cap looks like something a monk might wear. And then the wolfsbane is because the sap was used on arrows to kill wolves in medieval times. Has a really one of the most interesting historical backgrounds of any plant I've ever researched. And it's right beside another one. This is the castor bean. And we went down to the city for a few days to visit my mom, and look at that, a deer came and had a bite of castor bean, so I hope his tummy didn't get too upset, because this is a poisonous plant. But I love the foliage on this. That is so beautiful. So yeah, things are changing and transitioning, but it's been a really fun year. Oh, and then this Verbena bonariensis grew by itself. So that's really pretty. So I think that will be the end of the video for today. And thank you for watching.